Call the council meeting to order tonight, and tonight will be led in the invocation by Pastor Mark Schultz from Zion Lutheran Church in Sioux Falls. After the invocation, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance, so I would ask everyone to rise.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Gracious God, we learn from your word how you have given as a gift to humankind organization and government, that we could live in peace and in security and harmony. And so we pray tonight, O God, that you would grant your wisdom to this body, elected by the people, that they would be able to, with this wisdom given from you, vote on things that please you, so that your people, whom you love so much in this city of Sioux Falls, may live in peace and in security and safety and with harmony with one another. That's our request for this board. And as we are on the eve of an election in this state and in this country, we likewise pray that you would move through the citizenry of this country to elect men and women who will have wisdom to make laws that respect one another, laws that provide for security, laws that please you, because we are a country that is under your blessing, and we thank you for that. We want to receive even more of your blessings by being a righteous land. So help us in our endeavor to do that, O God. These are the things we ask. In the name of Jesus, our Savior. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Richard, you coming up, please? We have a proclamation for Veterans Day, and it reads, whereas November 11th, 1918 marked the cessation of World War I, whereas on May 13th, 1938, Congress declared the 11th of November each year will be a legal holiday, a day to be dedicated to the cause of world peace. Whereas the year 2006 finds the United States continuing to work for world peace, but with her fighting men and women involved in conflicts affecting the peace in Bosnia, Afghanistan, Iraq, and other parts of the Middle East. Whereas today more than 26 million veterans who served in the armed forces in times of peace and war. Now, therefore, I, Dave Munson, Mayor of the City of Sioux Falls, do hereby proclaim November 11, 2006 as Veterans Day in Sioux Falls and urge all citizens to recognize the sacrifices of our veterans through appropriate ceremonies and prayers. Okay, we'll start. Is there any additions or comments, or is there a motion to accept the consent agenda?
Move for approval, Jameson.
Jameson moved. Is there a second?
Second, Benninger.
Benninger seconded. Further comments? Seeing no further comments, all in favor of approving the consent agenda will vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmembers Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benninga?
Yes.
Brown? Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Consent agenda has been approved, 7 yes, 1 excused. Now we move to the regular agenda. Is there any additions or deletions or a motion to approve the regular agenda?
Move for approval, Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh, is there a second? Second?
Jameson.
Jameson seconded. Further comments? on the regular agenda? Seeing none?
Do we need a motion at this time to move item number 22 in front of number 17?
You're going to do what now?
Do we need that anymore, Mike, any longer? Okay, thank you.
Okay, we're good. Okay, further comments? Seeing no further comments, had a motion been made and seconded to approve the regular agenda. All in favor of that motion will vote yes. Those opposed vote no.
Councilmembers Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benninga?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
All members present voted, 7 yes, 1 excused. The regular agenda has been approved. This is the time that we set aside for 5 minutes for anyone wishing to address the council for a period of 5 minutes on any topic that they would like to discuss with the council. Anyone would like to discuss for 5 minutes at this time? Come forward. Seeing no one that is coming forward, we will move into the regular agenda items. And item number 6.
Lori Bossman with the City Finance Office. Item number 6 was the transfer of a 2006 retail liquor license. However, that has been withdrawn by the applicant, so no action is needed on item 6. Item 7 is transfer of a retail malt beverage license to the Riverfront Center Hotel Joint Venture for Soul Affair at 2501 West Russell Street, including video lottery terminals. Item 8 is transfer of a retail malt beverage license to Janice Rosas for Los Toros, and this is at 1010 North Minnesota Avenue. And then item 9 is a special one-day liquor license for the Washington Pavilion for a wedding reception on November 10. And I can answer questions on these items, and I do have applicants here as well.
Any questions of Lori on items 7, 8, and 9?
Move for approval, Benninga.
Benega moves for 7, 8, and 9 to be moved at one time. Is there a second?
Second, let's.
Litz seconded. Benega moved. Litz seconded. Motion to approve 7, 8, and 9. Further comments? Not all in favor of approving items 7, 8, and 9 will vote yes. Those opposed vote no.
Councilmembers Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benninga?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
All members present voted, 7 yes, 1 excused. Items 7, 8, and 9 have been approved. Item 10.
Item 10 is a second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending the revised ordinances of the city by revising the allowable sign area of menu signs. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
Mike Cooper, representing Planning and Building Services tonight. This is an item that has been initiated by city staff due to the fact that our current ordinance is pretty much outdated for these types of menu signs for fast food drive-ups. This ordinance was originally adopted about 1983 and had a maximum size of 32 square feet. And now with the changes in the industry and the number of menu items that are being offered, the standard that we've been asked to look at is more of a 48 square foot sign area. And so that's what this proposal would amend. And I know that I was asked before about, in general, the regulation of these types of signs. And in our sign code, we have a number of different types of signs that are regulated. And one of the things that we've discovered is that when the industry knows what the standards are going to be for the competitors, everybody's pretty much on the same playing field, so to speak. And we don't have what I call sign clutter start to occur. We've tried to keep the sign ordinance up to date over the years, and I know that we've made a number of amendments periodically to keep up with changes in the industry, and one that we're going to be looking at in the future has to do with electronic message signs. But for tonight, we're just asking for this approval to modify the maximum size of menu signs.
Questions of Mike? Kermit?
Yeah, I guess the last time we talked about this, I asked why are we micro-regulating this? I mean, this is a menu sign. This is not a sign that's out on a street or anything like that. Wouldn't it be better just to go ahead and eliminate this regulation and let the restaurant owners decide how big their menu sign should be?
I think we tried that back in the 70s, and it didn't work. We saw, again, just a proliferation of signage. And this may not be a fair analogy, but I think if you look around recently with all the election campaign signs, if we don't have standards, it can get out of control, and it has in the past. So I believe that this is a very This is a good ordinance. It's one that works well with the industry.
But once again, this is just a menu sign. We're not talking about all the other signs that we have regulations on.
Mike, increasing it to 48 square feet, and that's regardless if it's one sign or two sign, or is that per
That's
sign?
per sign.
Per sign.
Yes.
So wasn't it previously that if they wanted something in additional to 32 square feet, that it came out of their other building signage?
Yes.
So they had a chance to make that decision themselves if they wanted the menu sign or they wanted the building sign, so to speak.
And that's still the case with this amendment. Yes. Signs in excess of 48 square feet may be permitted. However, the excess area shall be accounted against the total sign area allowed on the premises. So that would still be an option for the landowner.
Okay, so if I have one 48-foot sign and I want a second one, does that second one come out of my building signage, or are there just unlimited number of 48-foot signs I can have?
No, you're allowed up to two.
Up to two?
Yep. And then,
Okay, so in essence here, what we're doing is we're giving businesses that have these types of signs additional signage. Why couldn't we just give additional signage across the board and let everybody decide how they want to allocate it? Because isn't it giving fast food a little bit of a better sign package than the rest?
no, because we're still saying there's a maximum for everybody. And if you want bigger than 48 square feet, you can do that, but it's going to be subtracted from your total allowable sign area. So we're not giving them an advantage. I think that's what your question was.
Further questions?
Yep. Everybody still has the overall maximum allowable sign area.
Further questions? Others that wish to address the council on item number 10? Council discussion or action on item number 10? Is there any motions?
Move for approval, Jamison.
Jamison moved. Is there a second?
Second, Litz.
Litz seconded. Further comments? Go ahead.
Well, even though this is a regulation that should be going into File 13, I'm going to be voting for this to at least help the restaurant owners here in Sioux Falls.
Okay, further comments? See, no. Go ahead.
Just for clarification, under Pat's question, the 48 feet, if they exceed 48 feet on these type of signs, then it comes off their total signage for the property.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's what the current ordinance says as well.
Otherwise, if it stayed at 32 feet, the 32 feet would come off of it.
Anything over
Councilmember-
32 feet under the current ordinance, yes.
Councilmember Litz.
I can't help but think that this thing might take care of itself, because if I'm coming up to a drive-up and I've got a 4x8 sheet of plywood, which is 32 square foot, and it's going up to 48 square foot, I wouldn't have time to read the entire menu anyway. So I'm just sort of 48 square foot it is, I guess.
Yeah. Well, they still call it fast food.
Further comments? See no further comments. All in favor of approving item 10 will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no.
Council members Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Costello?
No.
Jamison?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
All members present voted 6 yes, 1 no, and 1 excused. Item 10 has been approved. Item 11.
Item 11 is a second reading and ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at 47279 85th Street and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls to construct a single-family residence. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
This property was recently annexed into the city limits. It's located on the south side of 85th Street, west of Western Avenue. The applicant is Tom Olson. The property is about 7 3/4 acres in size, and the request is to rezone this for single-family residential development.
Questions of Mike on item number 11? Others that wish to address the council on item number 11? Council discussion or action on item 11?
I move for approval, Knutson.
Knutson moves. Is there a second?
Second, Benninger.
Benega seconded. Further comments? Seeing no further comments, all in favor of approving item 11 will vote yes. Those opposed vote no.
Council members Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes. All members present voted 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 12.
Item 12 is the second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at East 10th Street, 1/4 mile east of 6 Mile Road, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls to allow for residential development. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
This property is located on the east side of 6 Mile Road and north of Willow Run Golf Course and extends east to the Big Sioux River. This property was also recently annexed as part of a major east side growth area. And tonight we'll be acting not only on the rezoning, but also under item 23, the preliminary subdivision plan for this development. This development is proposed to be single-family residential, as well as recreation conservation for future open space. The property is about 246.5 acres in size, and this has gone through quite a bit of review, not only with surrounding neighborhood meetings, but as well as review by different city staff. And as far as the rezoning is concerned, we did, the City Council did approve a land use amendment previous to tonight, and this rezoning is in conformance with that land use amendment that the City Council has already given approval to. So this is a proposal that we are recommending approval for future single-family residential. And it is an area that we can provide future utility services to with a new east side sewer lift station and future water extension. And we will also be obviously working with a developer to program future street improvements. The initial one that will be programmed, and I'll talk about that a little bit later as well, is South Dakota Highway 42. It is currently on schedule to be redone by the South Dakota Department of Transportation in 2008. And this will provide an improvement not only for this development, but also for the commercial phase that we'll be talking about later on tonight to the west of here. The applicant is here tonight if you have any questions, or I'm not sure if they want to make a little presentation, but this does meet all of our requirements, and we are recommending approval of this rezoning tonight.
Questions of Mike on item number 12? Others that wish to address the council item number 12? Give your name and address, please.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, my name is Jonathan Lockhart. I'm a project manager with Parapsu Companies. We're a regional real estate development firm based out of the Twin Cities, Minneapolis specifically, and I'd like to take this time to introduce myself and our company. And before the meeting started this evening, I came up and passed out a booklet that not only covers the Arbor's Edge development, but also covers kind of the Rivers Bend Master Plan community. I understand that this is strictly a Arbor's Edge item, and would like to address any questions or concerns that you may have.
Questions of John? No, thank you. Thank you for your interest down here. We appreciate it a lot, John. Others that wish to address the council on item number 12? Is there council discussion or action on item number 12? Any motions?
I move for approval. Knutson.
Knutson moves. Is there a second?
Second, Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh seconded. Further comments? Seeing no further comments, all in favor of approving 12 will vote yes. Those opposed vote no.
Council members Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
All members present voted 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 12 has been approved. Item 13.
Item 13 is a second reading and ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at 308 West Lotta Street and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls to bring land uses into conformance with the zoning district. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
This is a somewhat of a unique zoning change. This property is just about 1/3 of an acre in size. It's pretty small, and it was developed prior to the annexation in the city limits, and most recently it's been used as a contractor's shop. It is surrounded by residential development, and it hasn't been used residential since it's been brought into the city limits. The petitioner is proposing to use this property for an internet automobile sale business, and one of the requirements is that they have to get a South Dakota dealer's license, which requires zoning approval by the city and this property currently is not authorized to be used as a car dealership. So this zoning plan development district that we've come up with will provide the use to be allowed, but still limit the future changes that could occur on this property. And under this plan development district, the uses that would be allowed would be a contractor shop, an office, a warehouse, and internet auto sales. And there would also be a regulation, which the applicant has agreed to, that there would only be 3 cars for display on the outside lot, on the exterior parking lot. They do have room inside the building for display of vehicles. Again, all of their business is by internet, but they are required to have the display area and the zoning approval to get their South Dakota dealer's license. We did not have any neighborhood opposition to this plan development zoning proposal, and the recommendation is to approve.
Questions of Mike on item number 13, Bob Jameson.
Mike, how many cars can they have on the lot? They can have the 3 display, but then you've got employees of both those. What is the total number of cars that they have capability of?
I don't know that I have the exact count, but I'm just looking at the site plan real quickly. And it looks like there's at least 10 to 12 parking spaces on there, so that's more than adequate for any future employee parking that they would have to comply with.
Thank you.
Bob Litz.
Mike, will there be automotive repair, detailing, painting, and such inside this?
No.
Kevin.
You say this was brought into the city with this which would be a non-conforming use?
Yes.
And what was in there before? Or what's in there now?
The previous use was a contractor's shop.
Wouldn't it be normal in a residential district like this to obviously grandfather in the non-conforming use when it comes into the city, but then when that use goes away, I'm not understanding why we would rezone this to a commercial use when you've got residential on 3 sides.
And again, that's the way that we try to deal with that is instead of just zoning it to commercial, that we would zone it to this plan development, which limits what could be put on there. And so again, the only uses that would be allowed would be the contractor shop, which it historically has been, and it could go back to that in the future, office, warehouse, and internet auto sales. So we are not opening this up for any type of future commercial retail. And that, again, that was based on working this out with the current property owner and the person that's going to be running the internet auto sales.
Further questions? Dee.
Mike, have there been any neighborhood meetings, and how were the neighbors, how much have they been told, and so forth?
Maybe the applicant can address that, but we did not have any neighborhood concerns, and I believe there has been correspondence with the surrounding property owners. There you go. I'll let somebody else answer that one.
Mr. Mayor, council members, my name's Tom Winker. I'm the owner of the property. We did hang flyers on all the neighboring properties about 600 feet out each direction. We held a neighborhood meeting. There was a lot of questions that were answered, no opposition. We did have some concern about one of the houses to the east of us, which is in need of condemnation, and what would happen to that house, but we don't own that property. That was the most concern that we had. Directly to the west of us, it has always been historically contractor yards. J.D. Hansen Painting Company's been there since before it became part of the city. And west of that, along Minnesota Avenue, is a office strip mall. So it's not the only piece that would be used for offices.
Okay. And could you tell us about how many neighbors attended the meeting?
About 15, about 7 households showed up. There was quite a few that we talked to. Ron and myself went around. This is Ron Adams, by the way. He does internet auto sales. We went around and knocked on each of the doors, talked to some of them there. Diane Metley and Carol Tweet live in the neighborhood. We had conversations with both of those. There was just no opposition at all.
Thanks, Tom. Others who wish to address the council on item number 13. Council discussion or action on item number 13?
Move for approval, Benninga.
Benninga moves. Is there a second?
I'll second that, Knutson.
Jamison seconds. Further comments? Seeing no further comments, all in favor of approving item 13, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmembers Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benninga?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
All members present voted 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 13 has been approved. Item 14.
Item 14 is the second reading and ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at 3428 North 4th Avenue and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls to allow a multifamily structure to be moved onto the property. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
This property is just under 1 acre in size, and the proposal is to make this into a multifamily development. The applicant has indicated that they have a structure on Minnesota Avenue that they would like to move onto this property and develop it into a multifamily residence. To the north of this is an existing 12-unit apartment building. To the south is vacant. To the east is a single-family residence, and to the west is office across 4th Avenue. The Planning Commission felt that this was an appropriate change in zoning, that it would still fit in with the surrounding development, and any structure that is moved onto property, we do have a procedure for that. If there's questions about the compatibility of that structure, there's neighborhood notification and a public hearing that process that we have. So this is the first step in trying to provide additional multifamily uses up in this area. There's a lot of employment up in this area, and this is a location that we have identified for future multifamily land uses. The recommendation is to approve the rezoning.
Questions of Mike on item 14. Others that wish to address the council on item 14? See no one come forth. Is there council discussion or is there action? Is there a motion?
I move for approval, Knutson.
Knutson moves. Is there a second?
Second, Jamison.
Jamison second. Further comments? Seeing no further comments, all in favor of approving item 14 will vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmembers Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benninga?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
All members present voted 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 14 has been approved. Item 15.
Item 15 is a second reading and ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at 2816 South Center Avenue and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls to expand an existing dental clinic. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
This property is 0.4 acres in size. It has a single-family use on it. The applicant is Dr. Kappelman, who has the adjacent dental clinic and parking lot. And the purpose of this zoning change is to expand the clinic and parking at this current location. This is also one that we have not had any neighborhood concerns, and the Planning Commission has recommended approval of this change to make this into office.
Questions? Dee?
Have there been any neighborhood meetings or contact directly with neighbors?
Yes.
Further comments or questions of Mike on item 15? Others that wish to address the council on item number 15? Council discussion or action? Is there a motion?
Move for approval, Benninga.
Benninga moves. Is there a second?
Second, Jamison.
Jamison seconded. Further comments? See no further comments. All in favor of approving item 15 will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no.
Councilmembers Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benninga?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
All members present voted. Item 15 has been approved, 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 16 has been withdrawn, so we move to 17.
Item 17 is a second reading and ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at 6 Mile Road and South Dakota Highway 42 and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls to allow commercial development. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
This is an item that staff is requesting to be deferred tonight for 2 weeks, and I would just like to give a little explanation of that last-minute change. We also have on the agenda tonight item 22, which is the land use amendment for the same piece of property. And this is for the commercial area. We just got done talking about the residential portion. And what we like to do typically is have the land use amendment done first and then come back and do the rezoning and the preliminary subdivision plan at a later meeting. We've discussed this with the applicant, and they have indicated a willingness to work with us on that schedule. And so what we'd like to do tonight is deal with the land use amendment, which will be coming up under item 22, and then defer this item for 2 weeks to the 20th, and then we'll present that along with the preliminary subdivision plan at that same meeting. And the applicant is okay with doing that.
So is there a motion to defer item 17 to November 20th?
Knutson.
Knutson moved. Is there a second?
Second, Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh seconded. Questions on the deferral?
Yeah, I do have a question. The applicant has agreed to this. Are they going to have to travel down from the cities again, or?
Well, they had to come back for the subdivision plan anyway, so
Oh, okay.
yes, it's not an extra trip for them.
Oh, okay.
So we got a motion been made, seconded, to defer item number 17 to November 20th. I see no further discussion. All in favor of that motion to defer will vote yes. Those opposed vote no.
Councilmembers Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
All members present voted. Item 17 has been deferred to November 20th, 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 18.
Item 18 is a second reading and ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, a major amendment. Petition number 2006-0922 to Chapter 15.45.070 Planned Development Districts at 7210 West 41st Street, allowing changes in land use as reflected in the revised sub-area regulations to allow telecommunication facilities as an allowed land use. The Planning Commission recommends approval with a stipulation.
Okay. This is an area that's located behind the Ace Hardware on West 41st Street. The request is to amend the land uses so that this telecommunication tower could be constructed on this property. The proposal is to construct a tower that has a total height of 103.5 feet, and it's going to be designed as a flagpole, what we call stealth design. The applicant has indicated that this type of construction does not add any cost to just a normal monopole type development that we've seen in the past. And we've encouraged users to come up with creative ideas to help build these so that they do fit in aesthetically with the neighborhoods, because this is close to not only commercial but also residential development. The applicant has indicated that this is going to be constructed for Swiftel. It's going to be for cell phone usage, and their operator will be Sprint. And again, the Planning Commission has recommended approval of this, believing that with this stealth design, it is compatible with this particular area. And we've had good luck with this kind of design in other locations within the city.
Questions of Mike on item number 18?
Yes, Mike, when you take a look around at Sioux Falls, I see a lot of cell towers without stealth design. Why do we have this one requiring stealth design and not other cell towers throughout the city?
I think the ones that you're looking at were some of the first ones that came into Sioux Falls, and they actually have what I call the crow's nest, and they were designed with a different style, and now the technology has changed so that they can, and they're doing this all around the country, they can come up with more creative ways to design these, and the flagpole is one that seems to be pretty attractive around the country. And they've actually brought that idea to us.
Awesome.
But some of those older ones were built with more than one user, and which is why they have more of the antenna support structures on there.
So in the future, when we have, I'm trying to remember, I can't remember actually approving cell towers in the past.
We just did one on 69th Street that's going to be a flagpole east of Minnesota Avenue.
Okay.
It's under construction right now.
But also, too, in regard to federal law, did anybody check into this? The city of Sioux Falls putting additional regulations on cell towers like this?
We did back when we were first starting to get into the cell tower ordinances, and I'm not aware that our ordinances are in contradiction to any federal or state laws. All the cell tower companies that have worked with us, are very familiar with our ordinances, and they have never been a problem.
Michael, we got someone that can come and answer that.
We have somebody that is an expert.
Okay. And give your name and address, please.
Mr. Mayor, members of the commission. My name is Peter Campbell, and just to make a clarification to his notes here, Buell Consulting is proposing the construction, and Verizon Wireless would be the carrier, not Sprint. That's fine. It's all record. I want to be correct on record. The reason that you're seeing an application for a stealth design pole in this particular property is our required coverage area is very small, and the zoning district here does not allow towers of this type to be a permitted use. Therefore, we needed to make a major amendment to the zoning to allow it under this planned development district. So with that in mind, we knew that if we came to the commission with your standard 150-foot monopole with big panel antennas on the side, not only would the community at large be very much against it, but also likely the commission. There's designated areas, as you're well aware, in your code and with your zoning map that state where we have permitted uses for cell towers. As our search areas become smaller and our technology is such that we need to get in tight to small little neighborhoods opposed to 15 years ago when we could put a 400-foot pole right outside of town and it would hit everybody, the amount of phone calls that are being made in a growing city like Sioux Falls, we need to come up with other solutions. And those solutions are monopoles. Very soon here we're going to be making application for a cross at the Resurrection Lutheran Church just north of this area, where we had gone to the congregation and spoke with them about what type of pole would they be amenable to. They didn't like the flagpole idea. We brought an architect in. They said a cross would be great. So now we're going to have an application for a really big cross.
Okay. But in regard, is there additional cost to making this stealth?
Quite frankly, there is, but it's an additional cost that carriers like Verizon Wireless and other ones out there that are pretty used to seeing when it comes to trying to get coverage in a very tight-knit community or a very geographically difficult spot.
What is the additional cost going to be?
It varies, quite frankly. See, if you were to give me a tower with 12 panel arrays on the top, like we see all over the place, the coverage I can get with that tower is phenomenal. Now, when we go into a flagpole, we put 3 antennas and we stuff it inside of a tube, and there's only 3 antennas in there. So our coverage versus cost, that calculation, it's very, very difficult to give you a number, but it is more, whether it's $50,000 to $20,000, I'm not sure.
And then lastly, I mean, there are federal regulations dealing with communication towers and things like this. I mean, when you talk about satellite dishes, cities are not supposed to be passing regulations on, homeowners putting satellite dishes up on their roofs and things like that.
Though they should, sorry. Though I think they should.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've seen some of those apartment buildings with 50 antennas on the side of it.
But how about these cell towers?
This
federal
is
regulations.
This is very common for, I go all over the country and go before commissions like yourselves and discuss applications like this. So this is well within your rights as a city commission to put this sort of stipulation on us.
But just to clarify, could you just say to the city of Sioux Falls, we have a cell tower, we're under federal regulations, and we don't want to make this a stealth tower. We just want to have a regular cell tower. Could you tell us that?
We could ask for that, but because this, as I said when I came up here, because this is a zoning district that does not allow towers,
okay,
and I'm asking for you to amend your district for a particular type of use, I made the personal judgment along with everyone at Verizon Wireless to say, let's do stealth here. There'll be a higher likelihood of no one having a problem with it. When I held the community meeting at the high school adjacent to the property here, I rented out a hall to meet everyone and answer questions, and one owner of a property came in to ask a question. That's common when I do a stealth design. When I do a standard 250-foot pole with 12 antennas on it, everybody comes to talk about it. But when it looks like a flagpole, people have no problem with it. So it was a judgment we made, and then we brought this idea to planning. Planning never said make it a pole. The city has not said to me make it a flagpole. This was our decision.
Okay. Thank you.
Any questions? Liz?
So in your example up there, I seen a flag actually on the pole. Is this pole going to have a flag? And if it is, whose flag is it? Who's going to maintain it?
It will be a Nyberg's Ace Hardware's flag, and it will be up to them to maintain the physical flag itself. We provide them with the lighting fixtures below it, so it doesn't have to come down every night. As federal, I guess, regulations advise you to light a flag. It's not by law to light a flag at night. It's advisable to light a flag at night. But they will own the flag.
Further questions? Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Others that wish to address the council on item number 18? Is there council action? Is there a motion?
I move for approval.
Knutson, is there a second?
Second, Costello.
Costello, seconded. Further comments? Seeing no further comments, all in favor of approving item 18 will vote yes. Those opposed vote no.
Councilmembers Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benninga?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
All members present voted, 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 18 has been approved. Item 19.
Item 19 is a first reading and ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, authorizing the issuance of its health facilities revenue refunding bonds, Dalrymple Village project.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Members of the council, my name is Doug Hayek. I'm with the Davenport Law Firm. We represent Rummel Memorial Home, Inc., which owns and operates Dalrymple Village in Sioux Falls. It's a continuing care retirement community that in 2002 made a major expansion of its facilities that were financed through the issuance of economic development revenue bonds by the city. The ordinance would allow Dalrymple or Rummel Memorial Home to refinance these bonds at better rates and more favorable terms currently available in the marketplace. The proceeds will simply be used to refund outstanding bonds of the city that were used to pay for this project. And one thing I would point out in Section 10 of the ordinance, it specifies that no city official, member of the council, other officer of the city itself shall have no liability for these bonds, and there's no rise to the taxing power of the city, and bonds would never constitute an indebtedness of the city. Federal law requires that there be what's referred to as a TEFRA hearing, and item 21 on the agenda tonight is where that hearing shows up. I don't anticipate speaking at the TEFRA hearing, but that is an opportunity for members of the public to comment on the financing if they wish to do so. And I would be happy to answer any questions.
Questions to Doug? No, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Some of the others wish to address 19 for the first reading?
First reading, move to set the date of hearing November 13th at 7 p.m.
Jamison moved. Is there a second?
Second, Benninga.
Benninga seconded. All in favor of setting that hearing date as mentioned for November 13th, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmembers Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benninga?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
All members present voted 7 yes, 1 excused. 20.
Item 20 is a first reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending the revised ordinances of the city by repealing the city's licensing of massage therapists.
Hi, Lori Bossman with the City Finance Office, and also Gail Eastland with the City Attorney's Office. This proposed ordinance came as the result of legislation that was passed in 2005. A South Dakota Board of Massage Therapy was formed, and this board will now be licensing massage therapists in the state of South Dakota. As a result, I had many calls from massage therapists asking if the city ordinance, which regulates massage therapy, would still be in place. They did contact Councilmember Dee Knutson, one of her constituents, and talk to her about possibly eliminating the massage therapy licensing in the city of Sioux Falls. It makes sense because it would just be a duplication of what the state will be doing. We will continue to license massage establishments, of which right now there are 73 establishments, and the reason being is that the state will not be licensing establishments And secondly, there would not be an inspection program in place. And currently, when an applicant applies for a massage establishment license, they are inspected by the fire department as well as the health department. And so that we would request to be maintained. As far as massage therapy numbers, we currently issue 171, and that number could increase by the end of the year just by a few prior to any changes in the ordinance. And the fee that we charge for the massage therapy licenses is $25. The state will be charging $200 for 2 years, and then I believe the renewal is $200 as well. And they have some additional educational requirements and so on that the therapist will need to meet. And then, as I said before, we license 73 establishments, and they pay $119 per year. Gail or I would be happy to answer any questions you may have on this ordinance.
Any questions, either one? No. Thank you very much. Is there a motion to set the hearing date for November 20th for item number 20?
I so move.
Knutson, is there a second?
Second, Costello.
Costello seconded. All in favor of setting the hearing date for item 20 for November 20th, vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Council members Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
All members present voted. The hearing date has been set for November 20th for item number 27. Yes, one excused. Item 21.
Public hearing for public input regarding authorizing the issuance of health facilities revenue refunding bonds, Dow Rummel Village project.
Does anyone wish to address item 21? Anyone? Seeing no one that is coming forward, we will move to item 22.
Item 22 is a resolution amending the future land use map as a part of the Sioux Falls 2015 Growth Management Plan, Powder House Road and South Dakota Highway 42, from the existing allocation of single-family, multifamily, office, institutional, and commercial to an allocation of commercial land uses.
This property is approximately 232 acres in size. It's bounded on the south side by South Dakota Highway 42 and on the east side by 6 Mile Road. And it extends north of 10th Street, and the western boundary is east, just east of Powder House Road. This is the second step in our normal planning stages. Once the property is annexed, we go through and do a land use amendment, and then, as I said, we'll come back on the 20th and talk in more detail about the zoning changes and the subdivision plan layout. The purpose of tonight is to consider the change in the land uses. When the 2015 plan was last updated a few years ago, this particular area was identified as a future combination of retail, commercial, office, and then on the north side of 10th Street was going to be single-family and medium-density residential. And this particular amendment, or I should say this particular 2015 plan update, was done before we had the East Side Corridor, before we had the East Side Lift Station, before those projects were actually finalized. So the question tonight is, what has changed to justify the change that's being requested here to modify this into a commercial land use? And we believe that there's a number of things that we can talk about that would justify that change. There's definitely a need for a future regional commercial center in this part of Sioux Falls. Again, with the changes that have been identified with the South Dakota Highway 100, which is the East Side Corridor, that first leg will be constructed now in 2009, as well as improvements to South Dakota 42, which are scheduled to be 2008. Those are going to significantly change the access in the street availability to serve this type of a future commercial development. And also with the opening next year of the East Side Lift Station, that's going to make this property available for significant redevelopment. And the applicant has been involved in a lot of neighborhood meetings, which they might want to talk about tonight. And we are still working with surrounding property owners on what impact this and other development will have on the east side as Sioux Falls continues to grow towards the east. So again, we believe that there's justification for a major regional commercial center We believe that with the expansion of utilities and street infrastructure, that we can support this level of commercial development on the east side, and that with the potential expansion of 23,000 acres of development on the east side of Sioux Falls, that there is going to be a need for major commercial centers, and this particular location has all the right infrastructure and the right location for this to occur. This proposal is also going to be designed as a pedestrian-oriented commercial development. And again, as we talk in the future about the rezoning to commercial, we'll talk about a number of requirements that will be put in place with the zoning, with sub-area regulations that will ensure that the quality of development that's being proposed is something that we'll see as this project continues to move forward. So this action tonight, we believe, is justified to make this land use plan amendment, and then we will come back in 2 weeks with more specific discussion on the zoning change and the subdivision plan layout. The Planning Commission is recommending approval of this land use amendment tonight.
Questions of Mike on item 22? Others that wish to address the council on item? Bob Jameson?
Mike, just out of curiosity, they show it as Highway 42. That is really Arrowhead Parkway, right?
This section is still under the state jurisdiction. It is called Highway 42.
So even though Arrowhead Parkway is part of Highway 42, this is not going to be called Arrowhead Parkway out there?
This is the current name, and the Arrowhead Parkway, I believe, ends at Powderhouse Road. So in the future, this could change, but right now it's still South Dakota Highway 42. And so the state of South Dakota will be making these improvements and essentially rebuilding that entire section of highway from Powderhouse Road out to 6 Mile Road in 2008.
Further questions? Others?
Mike, could you go back to the slide that was color-coded?
Yes.
On the north side, what's the orange? What is that, high density?
That's proposed medium-density residential, which could be twin homes, townhomes.
Okay. Is there going to be, in the middle of their project, where it basically goes from the commercial to the single-family, will there be a buffer?
Yes, it's identified on there as a recreation conservation buffer. It's going to be a significant landscape buffer that will have berms and plantings, along with modifications to the existing topography, so that we will have that buffer, and that's what's shown on this slide. And that's one thing that we spent a lot of time working with the neighbors and the developer, is that transition area. So yes, there will be that, and we'll be able to explain that in more detail when we do the rezoning, but yes, that is being provided. It's an important feature of this development.
My only comment there is because it looked like everywhere else you've got commercial going up to, there's no commercial going up to single family. There's a significant zoning change.
But we'll have that recreation conservation buffer on the north, if you want to go back to that. Yep, and this is a concept plan that will show that in more detail when we do the rezoning, but yes, that is being provided.
Further questions of Mike on 22? Others wish to address council on item number 22? Council discussion or motions?
Move for approval, Jamison.
Jamison moved. Is there a second?
Second, Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh seconded. Further comments? Seeing no further comments, all in favor of approving item 22 will vote yes. Those opposed, vote no.
Councilmember Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
All members present voted. 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 22 has been approved. Item 23.
Item 23 is a preliminary subdivision plan, Arbor's Edge addition to the city of Sioux Falls, Minnehaha County, South Dakota, 1/4 mile east of 6 Mile Road to allow residential development. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
Okay, now we're back on the residential portion of their development again. This is the area that we just rezoned tonight. And this particular action item is the preliminary subdivision plan, which shows the the initial layout of streets and lots and looks at utility services to this area. And again, this is being proposed for residential development, but there will also be both private and potential public open spaces along this area. It does abut up to the Big Sioux River, and I should say that without being the marketing guy for this development, this is probably one of the most significant views that you'll see out in Split Rock Township. It's just a beautiful area out here, and it has a great setting with a golf course to the south, the Big Sioux River to the east, of a very upscale residential development potential. The access will come off the extension of East 10th Street, and there'll be multiple access points onto 10th Street. We've gone through our review with Public Works, with Fire, with all the different city departments, and this subdivision plan is in conformance with those requirements. And they have had neighborhood meetings prior to tonight on this action item, as well as the rezoning and the land use amendment. So it does tie in good with surrounding land uses, including Willow Run Golf Course and future development to the west and to the north. And the recommendation is to approve the subdivision plan tonight.
Questions of Mike on item 23? Others that wish to address the council on item number 23? Is there council discussion or is there a motion?
I move for approval.
Okay, go ahead. Excuse me. If you want to address the council, give your name and address, please.
My name is Tammy Ankrum, and I live in Mystic Meadows, just north of their development. I couldn't hear him before.
Pull the mic down.
Pull the microphone down.
Yeah, I couldn't hear you either. My biggest concern is in the Parapet development, and I brought it up before, was that I have not seen nor heard of any testing that's been done on the soil to address contaminants that possibly could be in the junkyard. Being north of all that development and dirt being moved for up to a year, I have concerns. I have a daughter with asthma and some immune problems, and having a Class D junkyard being soil moved and moved and moved, you're going to have potential for contaminants going in the air. And with our winds in South Dakota, I'm quite concerned about that, because it's not going to be a day, a month, it's going to be more like a year of this dirt being moved. I've talked to Parapet about it, and they said they would work with me. I have not heard from them in the last month. Some of the things that I'm worried about that are in a Class D are arsenic, barium, cadmium, chromium, lead, mercury, selenium, and silver, as well as PCBs. And as far as I've been told, they've only done a level 1, which does not address any of these things. So that is my big concern, because I've called around. I can't find anyone that will look into this, will request this, will even the dust issue. I finally tracked down somebody that if they had a dust complaint who I could get a hold of. I can't get assurances that water will be used. I can't get assurances that tests will be done. That's why I'm speaking today, just to get my point out there. People are more concerned right now about berms and access and those kinds of things, but the dirt will be moved, and it will be moved to up to a year. And that would be my big concern. And if anybody had any answers for me as to, you know, how I can make sure this gets done.
Have you checked with anyone at the state level,
Yes, I
in the
have.
environmental department?
Yes, I have.
And what have you learned from them?
They've requested information from Parapet, and they've gotten a level 1, and that is it. A level 1 does not test for any of these things. A level 1 primarily describes what's on the land, what they do boring samples for construction, but that's generally what it's for. It does not do any of the things that I just requested.
Other questions?
And they would love to have this test, the state would. But they've asked for all the testing that's been done, and level 1 is the only thing that's been done. They would love to see more.
Okay, thank you very much. John, you want to?
I would just like to state for the record that there's not a salvage yard on this property. This is the residential. But to address the Galleria, we did do a Phase 1. Geotech conducted a Phase 1. It came back clean. It was not recommended that a Phase 2 be completed at the time. We provided that to the city staff, Sioux Falls City staff, to be available to the public. I would say in the last 2 weeks, we were contacted by the State Department of Environment and Natural Resources. I've been in close contact with Kim McIntosh of that department, and we've been working together to conduct a Phase 2 on the property. We have had meetings with her and I, and also with our consultants that we're going to have perform the work, so we can clearly identify which areas need to be pursued further and which, aren't necessarily as important, such as the agricultural component of the site. That will be made available within the next 3 weeks. Are there any further questions? And it is a salvage yard. Just to clarify, there's a difference between a salvage yard and a junk yard.
Thank you, John. Appreciate it very much. Others that wish to address council item number 23.
I would just also say that as a normal procedure, whenever a grading permit is issued for a project like this or a small project, that we do look at erosion and sediment control and dust control. So those are all issues that we would deal with on any kind of development project.
Further questions? Not. We see no one else come forward. We'll move to the motion to approve.
I move for approval.
Knutson, is there a second?
Second, Costello.
Costello seconded. Further comments on item number 23? Seeing none, all in favor of approving item 23 will vote yes. Those opposed vote no.
Council members Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
All members present voted 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 23 has been approved. Item 24.
Item 24 is a resolution including certain contiguous territory within the corporate limits of the city of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, Madison Street and Valley View Road.
This is a petition requesting annexation of 40 acres of land. Clint Ackerman is the petitioner and is proposing to develop this into residential subdivision on West Madison Street. It is an area that we can provide future street and utility services to, and the recommendation is to approve the annexation.
Questions of Mike on item 24. Others wish to address the council on item 24. Council discussion or action on item 24. Is there a motion?
Move for approval.
Kavanaugh is moved. Is there a second?
Second, Jamison.
Jamison seconded. Further comments? Seeing no further comments, all in favor of approving item 24 vote yes. Those opposed vote no.
Council members Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Kavanaugh?
Yes.
All members present have voted. Item 24 has been approved. 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 25.
Item 25 is a resolution including certain contiguous territory within the corporate limits of the city of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, 41st Street and T. Ellis Road.
This is also a petition by the property owners requesting annexation. This property is 85 acres. It's located on the northeast corner of 41st Street and T. Ellis Road. The petitioners is a group of landowners. They call themselves the 41st Street 10 LLC. And the property is proposed for future commercial and residential development. It also is an area that we can provide future street and utility services to. And the recommendation is to approve this annexation.
Questions of Mike on item 25? Others that wish to address the council on item 25? Council discussion or action. Is there a motion for item 25?
I move for approval.
Knutson, is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Kavanaugh seconded. Further comments? Seeing no further comments, all in favor of approving item 25 vote yes. Those opposed vote no.
Council members Knutson?
Yes.
Litz.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Benega.
Yes.
Costello.
Yes.
Jamison.
Yes.
Kavanaugh.
Yes.
All members present voted, 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 25 has been approved. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Mr.
Should
Mayor,
we have? Yeah, go ahead.
the city attorney's office is requesting that the council consider adjourning into executive session for the purposes of contract negotiations update.
Could we have a 10-minute recess prior to executive session?
We need a motion to go into,
Can we do that now, don't we?
oh, well, you can
Do you want to do that
you
now
can
and
recess.
then take a?
However you want to do it.
Well, let's just do that now. Let's go. Then we'll take a recess. Let's go into executive session. Everybody understand what we're going for? So we got a motion to go into executive session.
Move to an executive session.
Jameson, is there a second?
Second, Litz.
Let's second. All in favor of the executive session will vote yes. Those opposed will no.
Councilmembers Knutson.
Yes.
Litz.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Benega.
Yes.
Costello.
Yes.
Jamison.
Yes.
Kavanaugh.
Yes.
All members present voted. We will go to executive session. Prior to that, we'll take a
10
what did you say? 10 minute. 10-minute break. So we'll be back here.
Yeah, I've got a few out there. Yeah, they're eager for us to adjourn. Okay, you guys got to wait for the executive session's over before you sign this.
Yep.
Okay. Well, it didn't last too long. You get another piece of paper.
Very much.
Today's November 6th.